My name is David Edward. I'm with Ojai Oil Company, and we do business as Golden State Storage. Initially, the company started off purely as an oil company, but in 1972 or 3, somebody from Texas approached us to use a disused oil field. We turned it into storage, and that was our first storage, which was completed in 1974. We've just torn that facility down and have transformed it from a Class C facility. It's coming out of the ground in August, and it's going to be a Class A facility in Santa Fe Springs. We have 18 facilities at the moment, plus 2 more coming along, one of which I just mentioned. And we have one coming out of the ground in Summerlin in Las Vegas. That will be completed in April of this year. We started using Nokē because we're members of the Store Local Cooperative, and we started to hear about Nokē from the cooperative. Like many smaller operators, we tend to rely a lot on what other people say to us and not necessarily what the salespeople say to us. And so we started to meet store local people who'd rolled it out. I was in St. Louis and I visited James Reed's facility there. But more importantly, I spoke to the manager, not the owner. And it was the manager who was so keen and so happy with the product. I subsequently spoke to somebody in Minnesota who was using the product as well. And then we got to know the Janus team pretty well and thought that it was going to be a good fit for us. I think the thing about Nokē, there's a couple of aspects. There's Nokē the company, and what I've noticed, I was thinking about this flying across here on the airplane, is that I actually know a lot of the Nokē team. You're a very broad team, and you can always get to the person you need to speak to. There's other technology companies, seem to have one person, and when they leave, you're just left hanging. It's a very responsive team, and so you can talk to somebody about buildings, about locks, about delivery. The other thing I like about Nokē is that if there's a problem, they tell you there's a problem. It's none of this, there's a check in the post. They just tell you up front what the story is, and then help you fix it, which is very good. For the product itself, I do think that it saves man-hours on site. I think it makes the job of our managers easier, and we're very keen on making the job of our managers easier. We have excellent managers, and we try to make less work for them and less problems, not more work and more problems. Finally, from the technology side of things, I think customers love it because it's a lot easier for them too. Of course, like all technology, people love it when it works and they don't love it when it doesn't work. But basically, Nokē does work, and it's been a fantastic asset for us. And we're rolling it out at future facilities. In terms of a technological leap forward, this is pretty much like replacing a paper boarding pass for an aircraft with online on your phone, where your phone gets scanned at the gate and you're straight through. The other advantage is, with Nokē, you can actually send permission to somebody to go in to the gate and to your unit in much the same way as you can now send digital tickets for a concert to somebody or a major event. So it's a huge leap forward. In terms of operationally, I think it probably, if we wanted to trim manager hours, we probably could with Nokē because we've got the system in place. We haven't chosen to do that. I don't think we've seen particular savings in the tenant protection plan, which some people do get, but that's because we have a very competitively priced tenant protection plan. There's not really a lot of fat which can be trimmed from that. Otherwise, I think if you're from the district manager point of view and you're walking around a facility doing an audit, it's an awful lot easier to be going around with your telephone to make doors open and close than fiddling around with bits of keys and locks and whatever have you, trying to get the doors to open and close. So from an operational point of view, there's a saving there as well. Yes, I do think they're more secure. In the facilities where we don't have Nokē, every now and then, particularly in one location I'm thinking of, we'll have somebody try and sleep in the facility. We're self-storage, not a hotel, and so we don't encourage that, as you might imagine. With the Nokē, we can tell if there's somebody in the unit. And it also has, I should have mentioned this earlier, the thing about Nokē is it does have a lot of reports which you can look at, which are extremely beneficial and which better operators should be looking at. You know, like who's come in on a frequent basis, how many times they come in and out of the gate. I'm sure you can pull that out of other software, but not all other gate access systems. And of course you can see if somebody stayed in and hasn't left, and that raises issues. You have to go and work out why.